Hello, my name is Robert Gay, a Western Kentucky University student, and I will be conducting an inventory analysis of the cupcake company called Just Bake. Let's begin. First, a quick overview of the company. It was founded by Pam Turkin in 2009. It started in the Detroit area in Michigan. In just 4 years, it expanded to 13 stores. Freshness was their promise, as indicated by their name, Just Baked. Any cupcakes not sold at the end of each day were thrown out. Interesting fact was they used 600,000 eggs annually. However, the downfall of the company was overexpansion and some poor business decisions, which we'll cover in a later slide. All right, using the Newsvendor model, what is the target service level cupcake inventory for Just Baked? But first, let's talk about what is the Newsvendor model. It is a mathematical model used in operations management to determine the optimum order quantity for a product when demand is uncertain and the product has a limited shelf life. And this is perfect for a bakery such as Just Baked because the demand is uncertain. You do not know how many people are going to walk through the retail store each day, and the product has a limited shelf life. We know from the previous slide that at the end of each day, they throw out any unsold cupcakes. Now, so what is the best service level? But first, just note with Just Bake, there was two different kind of franchise. You had franchise owned and you had company owned. And between the difference between franchise and company owned, there were some different costs associated with it. That was calculated behind the scenes. But with that being said, utilizing Newsvendor calculations, it was determined that the franchise best service level was around 75%, and the company owned service level, optimum service level, was around 60%. So that asks another question. What would be the difference if it was an upscale bakery versus a low-end bakery, right? Upscale sells a product at a very high price, where a low-end bakery may not have smaller margins. And so what that means is at the end of each day, by not getting it right, where does the issue here? Well, a high-end bakery would want to get it right more often or have more product online because if having an empty store shelf, those lost sales would outweigh um, would be better than what they had if they were throwing it out. For example, a low-end bakery would cost less if they ran out than by having extra on hand. And what are some other industries that the Newsvendor model could apply to? Look at the slide here. I put the NFL, but that's just to represent sports in general. So a sports team is any sports or entertainment would want to, they got to calculate that right to sell those seats because once the game starts, an empty seat means zero money. So how do you factor that in? The next picture there, that's I put in for seafood products. That's Pike's Market in Seattle, right? So fresh fish or seafood has a very limited shelf life. Another one on the bottom left is plant nurseries, right? So your springtime flowers, again, they're going to want to get that right as well due to midsummer or fall, people aren't buying spring flowers. And of course, an obvious one is your grocery store produce, again, has a shelf life. And another one I thought of, which is a little unique or outside the box, was a car dealership, right? How many new cars do they have on lot? Because remember, as time goes on, that car price goes down, down, down. So they need to really calculate their demand versus their how many cars they keep on lot. Again, focusing on new cars at a dealership, not a used car lot. All right, so what are the periodic and continuous review for regard to inventory? So the periodic review is in uniform periods. The amount may vary, and you want to get back up to the order up to level or the target point. You can see the diagram on the top. That is the periodic review period for Just Baked, and then how often they need to order cake supplies. The continuous inventory review is when you hit the reorder point, then you want to reorder more, but your order size will be the same every time. So as you're going down, 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 you hit that trigger point, boom, you put in an order for the exact same amount. That's called the reorder point. Um, Typically, the periodic review is typically going to be found in smaller companies, such as a small independent bakery. Continuous improvement or continuous inventory may be on your much larger companies. Let's think super large, like Amazon, right? And where they're constantly monitoring it. They need manpower, they need data, they need technology, costs a lot more money. So continuous inventory management typically will fall on your larger companies. All right. So Just Baked, as fast as it climbed up in popularity and growth, they crashed too, unfortunately. In 2009, they were riding the wave of a popular TV show called Cupcake Wars, which aired from 2009 to 2018, which was right along the lines of Just Baked's rise and fall. But the big problem here was Just Bake. They expanded too fast. Their personnel, their supply chain management, and resources could not keep up with the amount of retail stores as they were opening. Investors lost confidence and therefore they pulled out. Matter of fact, it was known that investors were so quick to get out, they sold their stock for $1 in the company. But what can other companies do, such as Crumble Cookie, which is a comparable company? How can they learn from Just Baked? Well, it's just main thing is manage growth and your supply chain, your resources must keep up with the amount of growth in your retail outlets. Therefore, what other companies should do, and what I would recommend, is they should take a supply chain management course at Western Kentucky University. They offer a great course there. There's this amazing instructor, Dr. Gihan, who teaches it, and I think every company could learn from that to improve their supply chain management efforts. All right, this concludes my presentation of Just Baked. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's time to enjoy the fruits of our labor.